Hello, my name's Guy Turnbull, and today I want to talk about the relationship between disability and lived experience of disability and enterprise and employment. So a bit about me. I'm Managing Director of VIVA Mutual, which is an NDS provider. We employ about 60 workers. More about that later. And also I run a program called RED, which supports people with lived experience to set up their own business. Now, today I want to talk about the relationship between disability and economic activity and why it's so important. And it all started, well, it doesn't all start, but a week ago or so, I was out walking. This is Zach, by the way. Zach is my border collie. I was out, as I do every morning, walking my dog, Zach. And you get to know the odd dog walker in the park or on the beach. And this one lady came up to me and said, that was it, we were having a chat about something. And I said, oh, I've got to go to work now. And Christine goes, how many hours do you have to work? I think inferring I was on a disability pension or something. And what I should have said is I founded and built a $35 million business in the UK. I then came to Australia and I built another $7 million business in Australia. And I won EY Entrepreneur of the Year in 2018. But I didn't say that. I just shrugged my shoulders and walked away. And I think that's part of the issue, isn't it? Is that we see the disability and not the ability. We don't see the potential. And sometimes ourselves, people with a lived experience, don't obviously see that either. So what I want to do is give you a very personal journey of how I moved from having a doctorate in geography to setting up and running a $35 million business, and what that taught me along the way between disability and enterprise. So a bit about me. I was born in the UK and moved to Adelaide in 2018, 2019, around about the time of COVID. Before that, I've been commuting a month on, a month off. My wife lives in Adelaide and I've got kids in the UK. When I was researching my PhD into the causes and consequences of youth unemployment, I went undercover on a housing estate in the northeast of England. And my cover was set up a cooperative enterprise with the council. And that changed my whole mindset about what business was all about, how you could ethically run an enterprise. And myself, I'd never seen myself, A, as a business person, or B, actually as anybody with a disability. I'd just gone to school, got a degree, looking to be an academic. Fast forward 30 odd years now, I've run social enterprises. And along that journey, and I'm a slow learner, so it took me about 10, 15 years to work out that actually there was a relationship between my own lived experience of disability, disability in general, and entrepreneurship. So my first cooperative business actually had nothing to do with disability. It was a goat smoking co-op. So it was a collection of farms coming together to share assets and materials. And that was around about creating mutual benefit. I was blown away by this whole idea of mutual benefit. After a few years, I could see that there was a real and genuine need for a cooperative business in the health and social care space. Because what we know is that engaged employees deliver the best possible support. So if you can create a business model that engages with the workforce, you end up with a really strong business model. And on my exit in 2017, we had grown to a $35 million business, delivered 24,000 hours a week of social care, and operated across 8 or 9 territories. I just love that graph. It just shows our strong track record of growth. And what I learned along the way in that is growth and growing a business, it's all about getting the right people, working at the right markets and footprint, getting the finance right, getting the business systems right, and getting genuine employee engagement in everyday working of the business. And then I did it all again. And these are VIVA's critical numbers. So 6 million turnover in 18 months, paid off our startup loans, 60 staff, 100 clients, and shortlisted for the Total Business Awards. And going back to the lady dog walker, the point I would make, and the point I'd make again, is it's not despite my disability, it's because of it. It's because of the kind of attributes of having a disability can actually be a benefit in work and in running a business. So it's all about challenging the medical model of disability. So disability isn't about physical impairment. It's about self-esteem, it's about lack of confidence. It's about having a positive body image. You run your own business. If you're self-employed, you walk taller. Because you're comfortable with what you've done. And you can also shape the enterprise to suit your needs. And as I said, so along the way of that journey with CASA, we developed, myself and another comrade, Keith Bates in the UK, established something called Rapid Enterprise Development, RED, which is a way of making enterprise development accessible to people with lived experience in disability. And we're really fortunate to receive an IFC capacity building grant from the NDIA, initially and now through DSS, to operate in Adelaide and alongside VIVA, support individuals to become self-employed, to explore their business ideas and to turn their hobbies, interests, passions into viable enterprises. And it all comes back to what do we all want? We all want someone to love, somewhere to live, and something to do. And it's the something to do element, which is the thing that people with disabilities sometimes really struggle with. Because when you go to a party or when you go to a pub or when you meet somebody for the first time, what's the first thing people ask you? It's, what do you do? And so it's that whole validation, social validation of having a job, but also having economic power is so important. That's why we created RED. And RED covers a whole range of issues around finance and break-even point analysis, development of a business plan, market research, how to attract customers, business idea generation. But the most important thing is the entrepreneur. And we always start with, what makes an entrepreneur. And this goes back to my own experience of it dawning on me over the years about my own childhood and my own traits and how they match with the 10 entrepreneurial traits of entrepreneurship. I only want to take one or two now, but they are important. Entrepreneurs are stubborn and determined. And for me, and work things over and over again, my hobby as a child was having a model railway. It's the best present I ever got as a child. Loved playing model railways. And I would spend hours trying to put the trains on the track. That fine motor movement. And then I would set the engine off and it would all fall off. And I'd have to do the thing again and again until I got it right. And I got some kind of bizarre enjoyment in doing that. And entrepreneurs tend to work at things. Secondly, I'm a bit of a dog with a bone. If I can't fix something, or something really troubles me, and I recognise this as a problem as well, I actually struggle to move on. Especially with IT issues, if something isn't quite right. And again, entrepreneurs can be dog with the bone, but also people with lived experience, they want to try and fix what's stopping them doing something. Thirdly, I went to a mainstream school from the age of 5, and you develop a thick skin and resilience, because I've been called every name under the sun. In the 70s and 80s, wasn't exactly an anti-bullying policy in school at that time. So and entrepreneurs have that resilience. Sometimes they don't have a rearview mirror. So it's about looking forward. How am I going to do this? How am I going to achieve this? And also it's about being an outsider. And although I've got a wonderful family, wonderful friends and networks, there is something you are slightly you get stared at. So, and what I'd say about for employers and other people considering employing people with lived experience, within minutes or hours, you don't see the disability. I've had this said to me again and again and again, both with friends and with people I've worked with, is that once that barrier is broken down, it's gone. You just need to take that first step to break that barrier down. Workarounds. This is me moving a cup of coffee from a kettle on one side of the kitchen to the other. Or actually, no, my coffee machine. So it's one way of not being burnt. As I said, I am a slow learner, and I then got a cup with a top on it. And workaround, ingenuity. So I build, we all build flat pack furniture, although I vowed never to buy anything again with some assembly required on the box. But, obviously I've spent years assembling stuff using power tools. Still got my fingers left. And it's about working out how to operate safely, but also how to, so it's a level of ingenuity. So here's me using a sharp knife to cut up the salad. And again, it's that dignity of risk. So individuals are allowed to take that kind of manage that risk and work out ingenious ways of doing things. And so I come to this point, and I often ask this in red, is what about when the two worlds collide? Because we always think about disability and care as being around stability, low risk, low return, and business and enterprise is all about change, high risk, high return. So how do we square that circle? And I always tell this story that my mum, well, when I was from about 7, I used to ride a bike to school every day with my friends. And I used to, because I was 7 and didn't realise, used to wobble off to school every day and wobble back at night. And it was only years later my mum said to me, I used to be worried until I could see you wobbling back at the end of the day. But she managed that risk in that I was only allowed on the very quiet roads. At the main road I had to get off and cross at the Pelican Crossing. And by managing that risk, my mother allowed the best possible childhood because I just went to school with the rest of the kids that were back to school. So entrepreneurs manage risk. And people with lived experience do that all the time. So that's just some examples of how you can actually see how a lived experience of disability and enterprise can be related in terms of a set of entrepreneurial traits, or entrepreneurs if you're looking to employ people with lived experience in your own business. And just to finish off on one example. So this is the Shetland Soap Company. Which is a business I helped establish in the Shetland Islands of Scotland in the UK. And we used to make bars of soap for 28 pence, sell them for £4.50 because it's not soap, it's a gift. And with that margin, we were able to use that to employ people with intellectual disability on decent rates of pay to actually deliver that enterprise. Okay, thank you for listening, and it's been a pleasure sharing my story with you. Thank you.